Hello, and welcome to Serious About, where we dive deep into, well, whatever I'm fixated on this week. It could be comics, it could be cinema, it could be 1950s horror, hey, alien abductions, or the tragic backstory of a discontinued snack cake. Snack cakes. Well, if it's weird, wonderful, or wildly underappreciated, I'm serious about it. I'm your host, Doc Serious, evil genius, unlicensed therapist, and runner-up in the 1992 Mad Science Cotillion. And today, we're serious about comic legend Peter David. On May 24th of this year, Peter David, award-winning comic book writer, Titan of Tales, Punslinger extraordinaire, died after several years of health complications. He was one of my favorite writers, and I say that as someone who once tried to write a serious comic script on a napkin during a power outage and ended up with a 4-panel pun war between Thanos and Deadpool. It was a mess. Peter David, he'd have made that work. He was one of the most prolific, versatile, and beloved writers in comic book history, a true master of balancing humor, heart, and high-concept weirdness. If comic book storytelling is a roller coaster, then Peter David's work is a ride that makes you laugh, cry, and question the ethics of cloning, sometimes all in the same loop, and occasionally while being punched by the Hulk. So, to kick off my retrospective on Peter David's greatest creations, we begin not with a laugh, but a shiver. Buckle up, Serioses, because number 12 on our list is none other than The Sin Eater. Let's rewind to 1985. Peter David was working in Marvel's sales division, peddling comics by day, writing scripts by night, like a secret agent of storytelling. Normally, that kind of cross-department dabbling was frowned upon, conflict of interest, blah blah blah, ethics. But Jim Owsley, yes, that Jim Owsley, later known as Christopher Priest, was editing the Spider-Man titles and saw potential in David. Owsley started buying his scripts. Now, Peter David, clever chap that he was, kept his editorial and sales hats separate. No scheming, no meddling, just writing. Just good writing. One of his earliest major contributions came in Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man numbers 107 to 110, cover dated October 85 to January 86. A story arc ominously titled The Death of Jean DeWolf. Spoiler alert, she dies. In issue number 107, on page 3, brutally. This isn't a she'll come back in the sequel death. This was gritty. This was real. This was disturbing. The killer, a new villain named the Sin Eater. Stan Carter, an NYPD detective and former SHIELD agent who underwent experimental treatments that enhanced his strength, endurance, and, unfortunately, his psychosis. These treatments were never officially called Super Soldier Serum Adjacent, but come on, it's Marvel. We know a knockoff cap juice when we see one. Carter's mental breakdown took the form of a second identity, the Sin Eater, a masked vigilante who believed his mission was to punish those who abused their authority, which, in New York, in the 80s, let's just say it gave him plenty of targets. His costume, plain clothes, a balaclava, and a shotgun. Budget-friendly, nightmare-inducing. His first victim, Captain Jean DeWolf, then he kept going, gunning down more people, including an innocent bystander, before Spider-Man finally stopped him. Now, Spider-Man's stories had gotten dark before. Gwen Stacy, anyone? But there was always a safety net. Supervillains in costume. exaggerated revenge plots, quips to soften the blow. Not here. Sin Eater wasn't colorful, he wasn't cosmic, he was grounded, terrifying, and disturbingly real. This story threw away the safety nets and told us, sometimes the monster has a badge. It joined the growing movement of darker, more adult-oriented storytelling in comics, alongside Frank Miller's Daredevil, Born Again, and The Dark Knight Returns. Peter David's death of Jean DeWolf helped kick down the door to the grim 80s. This wasn't just gritty, it was morally uncomfortable and covered in blood. And it was topical. David drew inspiration from the real-life case of NYPD Robert Torsney, who killed 15-year-old Randolph Evans in 1976 and was found not guilty by reason of insanity. That case, tragic, haunting, and horrifying, was treated seriously by David and serves as a solemn backbone to the Sin Eater narrative. That story and those lives deserve remembrance and respect. But Peter David wasn't done with Sin Eater just yet. In Spectacular Spider-Man number 134 to 136, the arc titled Sin Eater Through Hell dives deeper into Stan Carter's unraveling mind. Gone were the hints of a mustache-twirling villain. This was full-blown psychological horror. Think less Spider-Man versus a bad guy, and more Spider-Man versus a broken man being swallowed by his own trauma. And how does it end? With Carter baiting the police into killing him, death by cop, after brandishing an empty gun. Chef's kiss. Put a bow on it, stick a frock in it.
What?
What? Look, we're recording, you can't.
You said frock and stick a fork in it.
Really? Fine. Stick a fork in it. It's bleak, it's tragic, it's powerful storytelling, but wait. Alright, from the top. It's powerful storytelling, but wait. Hey, Nick Spencer, writer of the oh-so-revered Captain America Hydra Agent storyline in 2020's 5th volume of Spider-Man. Yes, I agree. Peter David's Sin Eater saga, serious about coined, is an excellent storyline. Yes, I'm all for calling back to Sin Eater's story, as long as it's done tastefully. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? It's also the last time the character felt complete. Unfortunately, like so many complete stories in comics, Sin Eater didn't stay dead. He came back as a demonic entity, and later a zombie, because of course, comics, baby. I mean, Sin Eater vs. Zombie Aunt May hasn't happened yet, but don't give Marvel any ideas. Or Marvel, call me. I'll have a script by the end of the week. By the way, quick sidebar, my darlings. If Sin Eater had a playlist, and you know he would, what songs would be on it? Are we talking Gregorian chants and Johnny Cash deep cuts? Or is he a full-on Crifty screaming, "Can you take me higher?" with tears in his eyes and a shotgun in his trunk? Drop your guesses in the comments. I'm committed to assembling the most unsettling Spotify playlist of all time. I'll call it Moral Absolutism and Other Bangers. Anywho, Spider-Man has had no shortage of personal tragedies. Uncle Ben, the aforementioned Gwen, George Stacy, that baby he and MJ almost had, etc., etc., etc. But the death of Jean DeWolf stands out, not just because it shocked readers, but because it almost broke Peter Parker. It's one of the rare moments where Peter is pushed to the edge, truly pushed, and comes dangerously close to crossing the line. And it's only Daredevil, Matt Murdock Esquire, who stops him. He didn't see that coming. This wasn't just a story about a killer, it was a story about power, corruption, grief, and how even heroes can be blinded by rage. It's about the systems we trust failing us and what happens when we think vengeance is the same as justice. In 1985, Peter David gave us a Spider-Man story that was not only topical, it's still relevant today. Disturbingly so. So yes, number 12 on my list is Sin Eater, a dark, intense, and sometimes overexploited character, but one whose debut signaled the arrival of Peter David as a serious voice in comics, and one who left a lasting scar on Spider-Man's world. Stay tuned for number 11 on my countdown of Peter David's greatest creations. Will it be a Hulk? A Harpy? A half-cat, half-comedian hybrid with telepathic jazz hands? Wait, that wasn't Peter David. Was that my college roommate? No. That was my high school crush. Same tale, different trauma. Only one way to find out. Hit that like button harder than a shotgun blast from a vigilante with unresolved trauma. Or maybe just gently tap it. We don't need any more trauma. This is Doc Sirius reminding you, sin is in the eye of the beholder, but revenge, that's usually in the hands of someone with a bad haircut and an even worse plan. And I'm serious.